Hey everybody, welcome to Mindful Minerva. Today, we're going to go over the fascinating world of the serial position effect. What is the serial position effect, you ask? It is a cerebral occurrence that explains how we tend to remember the first and last items in a list more easily than those in the middle. Make sure to watch until the end, because it's one of the most amazing serial position effect examples I've ever seen. Let's start with something that everyone can usually relate to. Imagine you're given a list of random words to memorize. Chances are you'll remember the first and last words better than the middle ones. This is called the primacy and recency effect. But what if I were to tell you that this concept extends beyond words? Take, for instance, the first example. Have you ever been at a presentation where the first few minutes caught your attention and you were able to remember these key points for hours and sometimes days later? While the middle section seemed a bit blurry and unriveting. This is a simple example of your brain at work with how it processes and retains key items or lists. The same holds true when at the end of the presentation, you will typically hear the presenter have a call to action or key takeaways. The next time you might have a presentation for school or work, try this out and you will likely see the serial position effect doing its job. This will, in turn, strengthen whatever message you are trying to get across to your audience. Another real-life example is a job interview. The interviewer is more likely to remember the first and last candidates that they interviewed. So if you realize that you are in the middle, you will likely need to up your game. Or better yet, use the serial position effect to your benefit and try to request being first in order to be in a better position to be offered the job. What about attending a concert? Did you ever wonder why the most memorable parts of the show were at the beginning or at the end? Or what about how the artist creates the set list? Their most popular hits are likely going to be in the beginning and end of it, while the less popular songs occur in the middle, when people are less likely to remember them to begin with. And what about those vivid childhood memories? The serial position effect plays a part here too. Our brains tend to remember the first and last of our childhood experiences more vividly. This is likely the reason you remember your first day of first grade, and moments you had that day from what you were wearing to remembering the names of your fellow classmates more easily. Serial position effect can also be observed in the context of advertisements. Take, for example, a commercial for a popular beverage. The advertisement starts with an attention-grabbing scene showcasing the refreshing drink's benefits and unique features. This opening scene aims to capitalize on the primacy effect, ensuring that the core message and brand are encoded into viewers' long-term memory from the outset. As the commercial progresses, it introduces other products and briefly mentions competitor brands in the middle section. Advertisers may intentionally place these mentions here, knowing that the middle part is less memorable and viewers might not retain them as effectively. Towards the end of the ad, the focus returns to the beverage, reinforcing its positive attributes and using catchy slogans to tap into the recency effect. For another example, consider a student studying for a history exam. During their study session, they review a list of historical events and their significance. The primacy effect will ensure that the information studied first, such as the first few events on the list, is more likely to be encoded into long-term memory. Similarly, the recency effect will lead to better retention of the information studied last, such as the events at the end of the list. These items have had less interference from subsequent material and are still fresh in the student's short-term memory. However, the information in the middle of the list, sandwiched between the initial and final items, is more susceptible to being forgotten due to the limited capacity of short-term memory. As a result, the student may struggle to recall these middle events during the exam. Recognizing the serial position effect can help students and educators optimize learning strategies. For instance, applying spaced repetition and interleaved learning, which involve revisiting material at spaced intervals and mixing different topics, can counteract the negative impact and increase overall retention and recollection of information. The serial position effect can play a crucial role in real estate. It can demonstrate how potential buyers perceive and remember properties during the house hunting process. Real estate agents and sellers often use this strategically to enhance the appeal of a property and increase the chances of a successful sale. The primacy effect is harnessed when presenting a property to potential buyers. The first impression of a house is essential as it significantly influences the overall perception of the property. Sellers and agents often focus on ensuring the front yard, entryway, and initial rooms are well maintained, aesthetically pleasing, and welcoming. By making a positive first impression, they can increase the likelihood that buyers will view the rest of the property more favorably. Similarly, the recency effect is utilized during the property tour. The last few rooms or features shown to potential buyers can leave a lasting impression. Agents often save the most attractive or unique aspects of a property for the end of the tour to make sure buyers remember these appealing features when making their final decision. The middle part of the property tour is the segment most susceptible to being forgotten, just like in the learning example. To counteract this, real estate agents may strategically incorporate memorable aspects or highlight key selling points in the middle section of the tour. This helps maintain potential buyers' engagement and ensures that essential features of the property are not overlooked. By understanding and applying the serial position effect, real estate professionals can effectively structure property tours and marketing strategies to optimize the chances of a successful property transaction. No matter what your political affiliation is, the serial position effect can oftentimes be observed in the context of politics, and in particular, with how voters perceive and remember politicians. The primacy effect comes into play when a politician first introduces themselves to the public, or enters the political arena. Initial impressions can have a significant impact on voters' perceptions of a politician's character, values, and policies. Early campaign ideas and appearances are crucial, as they can shape voters' long-term views and judgments of the candidate. Similarly, the recency effect is evident during the final stages of an election campaign. Candidates often intensify their efforts and focus on making memorable appearances, delivering compelling speeches, or emphasizing their key policy proposals in the days leading up to the election. This heightened exposure near the voting date aims to leave a lasting impression in voters' minds, as these recent encounters are more likely to be recalled when voters cast their ballots. In contrast, the middle part of a politician's campaign can be challenging to remember. In the midst of a competitive election cycle, voters are bombarded with information, debates, and campaign advertisements, making it more challenging for candidates to maintain their message. To counteract the challenges posed by the middle section, politicians often employ repetition and reinforcement of their core messages and slogans throughout the campaign. By consistently emphasizing key points, they strive to increase the chances that voters will remember their key selling points and policy promises, even if they might get lost amid all the noise. Last but not least, the one example of serial position effect that might blow your mind, and one that you might never have realized before, but influences your everyday life, is food. Whenever you go to a restaurant, the serial position effect can be observed in the design and layout of restaurant menus. Menu engineers and designers strategically use this to influence customers' choices and maximize profits. The primacy effect is employed at the beginning of the menu, where restaurants place their most profitable and popular dishes. These items are carefully chosen to create a positive first impression and to encourage diners to consider them seriously. The restaurant wants to ensure that customers are drawn to the high-profit items from the outset. Conversely, the recency effect is utilized at the end of the menu. Restaurants often place their second most profitable items or unique and visually appealing dishes towards the end. These items benefit from the recency effect, as they are more likely to be remembered when customers are making their final choices. The middle section of the menu is where the serial position effect poses a challenge. To combat the drop in memory and attention in this portion, restaurants may use various techniques such as highlighting, borders, or spacing to draw attention to certain dishes. They may also include signature dishes or chef's recommendations in this section to increase their visibility and memory retention. In addition, restaurants often use strategic naming, descriptions, and mouth-watering imagery to enhance the overall appeal of the menu items. By presenting the dishes in a way that captures customers' attention and imagination, the restaurant can improve recall and increase the likelihood of diners ordering these items. The serial position effect in restaurant menus is used to influence customers' choices and optimize profitability. By strategically placing high-profit items at the beginning, visually appealing items towards the end, and using attention-grabbing techniques in the middle, restaurants can make their menus really effective. So there you have it. Some mind-blowing examples of the serial position effect. Your brain is a fascinating and complex organ, and understanding how it works can help you make sense of the world around you. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more captivating insights into the mysteries of the mind. Check out this playlist of my top 10 videos on human psychology. Take care.